I need to see $1 million truck. That's crazy.
Yeah, you'll be blown away by what they do there. It's amazing how much cool stuff is happening in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm always blown away.
Here we are. Big Dan, Carbon Offroad. Finally.
It's good to meet you, Ben.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too. I appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, look,
Cheers for the afternoon drive. I know it wasn't exactly a quick one.
The Gold Coast to Brizzy commute's pretty. It's pretty rough, mate. It's pretty rough. I try and avoid it where I can. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, let's get this done.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, super keen.
Well, look, I think I spoke to one of your guys a while ago about getting his on, and I think, God, we had that much stuff going on. It was just one of those things that I was like, I'll have to follow that up. And then, like 2 months later, I'm like, fuck, did I follow that up? Oh, yeah, no. But, I mean, because for anybody that is unfamiliar with your product, Carbon Offroad, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what you do and all that stuff?
There's probably there's actually quite a lot of people that probably aren't familiar with our goods and our product. So basically, Carbon Offroad, we're a winch and recovery company. That's the essence of our focus on what we do. In 2016, we launched Carbon winches.
Yep.
And that was a product that we'd spent quite a few years in development on. We identified a number of years before that there was some problems with product on the market at the time that weren't really addressing any of the issues that were present then. And also the issues in our market that we were, seeing that were going to be coming up. So, back then we were doing a lot of suspension work and, lift kits and setting up vehicles, and we're seeing a lot of people putting a huge amount of accessory load on their vehicles.
Yep.
And we're seeing the government clamping down on things like the legal GVM limits. It's a plate on your vehicle. It's got a number. Wasn't being enforced. It wasn't really being enforced that much, but what we saw was that figure, and the government was starting to enforce that a little bit more. So people were starting to think about their accessory load on the vehicle. And when it came to winches in particular, a winch is an essential item. If you're out in the bush,
especially on your own,
you've got to have a winch. Even if you're not on your own, it's a really super handy bit of gear to have. So we looked at what was on the market, and at the time we were, only a two-person. Actually, when I first started the winch program, it was only me. So we were seeing, trying to understand where we could fit into the market, what our opportunities were as a business in the off-road industry. I had come from a marketing and advertising background in a previous role in the industry, so we already had a good understanding from a few years of doing business. And prior to that, I was a teacher.
Right.
So outdoor ed and PE teacher.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's
probably the only thing I could handle doing if I was doing it.
I know. And
PE.
I did that for a few years, but the writing was on the wall pretty quickly that I was going to reach my peak pretty quick. And in terms of, just financial and career-wise, like the only way in the education industry to progress is to get into higher management roles. And that means you kind of move away from the things that you actually, started to consider, like as part of the role of teaching. You're there.
With the kids.
You're with the kids.
Yeah.
So you can't really progress as a teacher and still maintain and do what you actually really enjoy doing. And that was, being in front, giving these kids a great opportunity to progress as people. Like, I'm super passionate about outdoor education.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, that was, my main focus.
Yeah.
And what I mainly did in employment. So super keen about that part of life. and the education and the growth of, and development of kids as they come up through high school. Really passionate about that. So when I moved away from that, I was like, well, how can I pay the bills, do something I enjoy, and also, still have a strong influence on people in terms of helping them to understand the benefits of being outdoors.
Yeah.
So 4-wheel driving is a beautiful synergy of, passion.
Yeah.
So people are super passionate about this lifestyle, and it is a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby. It's a lifestyle for people.
Absolutely.
It's part of our DNA and culture here in Australia. Yeah. So for me, it was a natural kind of progression to go into business in that area. And I was lucky to, get a marketing and advertising role. We worked in that business for a few years. That was online e-com back in 2008, around the GFC, actually.
Yeah. That's a great fucking time to be in, isn't it? Shit.
I know. It was actually a really interesting time. I call it the golden era of the gold rush of the off-road e-commerce space, because no one was really doing anything that well back then. And we pushed pretty hard. Like, we were mainly eBay at the time when I started, but then we developed a website. We did a lot of marketing with, the guys like 4-wheel drive action, for example.
Yep.
Outside back covers, really committed a lot to that sort of, hard copy advertising, which was still working really well back then. So we learned a lot about marketing and advertising. I convinced the guy that I was working for at the time. I had no marketing qualification. I said, marketing is just education, mate. I'm a teacher. I teach people. I understand how people learn. I can educate people about your products. And anyway, like we scaled that business like 70% in 18 months.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I call it the gold rush of that era. Unfortunately, he couldn't manage his finances. So the growth was, epic. We had epic growth, but unfortunately there was a lot of money going out that probably shouldn't have been. So, lesson learned for him. Yeah. Lesson learned for the guys that were working for him as well. So when I just basically, when we left, I just pivoted straight into my own company. Started doing similar things, but different. We didn't do a lot of the smaller, wheel bearing kits and brake pads, and, we focused on higher value, higher order value as well, because it was only me at the time. So I'm like, I can't deal with like 500 people a month or 1,000 people a month. I'd rather deal with 10 people a month and sell them 10 grand worth of gear than 500 people and sell them $50 worth of gear. So
when your profit margins are low and you got to rely on that high turnover of items, it's that can be mental. So I get that.
Yeah. So back in the start, that was, I did that just basically online retail for a couple of years, and then I was feeling the squeeze from both ends. Like, there was more competition coming into the market, so we were seeing a lot more online e-com players coming in, and on the supplier side of things, we were seeing prices going up. We were seeing competition pushing the market price down. So the guys in the middle were getting squeezed pretty hard, and as an online retailer, as a dealer, we weren't making massive investments in stock or anything like that, to build our buying power and our margin. So it was like, well, what are we going to do? I was passionate about winches. We spoke to a few of the winch companies. Can we have a bigger presence? Can we do something? And the answer was basically no. Like, we were willing to commit, dollars for stock or however we could commit. To get a little bit more margin and work with these companies. But they basically all said no, which was silly of them.
They've just created their own competition.
Yeah, pretty much. So now, and then it was basically, that was 2012. So 2010 started my business. 2012, we started the winch project. And then through that, just the business was growing organically. So I had to start hiring people. So I hired another guy, Rob. We were still working from home. Just working from home, doing our thing. down at Phillip Island at the time.
Yeah, nice spot.
A couple 100 meters from the beach, just beautiful. Fishing. Yeah. We go and have our marketing meetings out the boat, in the arvos, just drop a line.
Yeah. That's why we can't do anything, because we get nothing fucking done. It'd be meetings about meetings.
Yeah.
Let's plan. We'll have a meeting to plan that we'll have a meeting.
Yeah. So
I get that.
Yeah, it was like really good times back then. And anyway, we're still sort of, it's like, well, what are we going to do? And well, let's start working on a winch program. We know that winches are made overseas. We know we can speak with these manufacturers. And anyway, so we started putting the feelers out, and basically it took us 4 years, from the initial idea through to actually getting that first winch on the market and stock on the ground and selling. It was basically 4 years. So I don't know why it took so long. It just did.
I'm guessing you didn't just copy and paste what was already out there.
Well, this is the thing. It's like I've got to put my name, my reputation against this.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of shit product on the market. The product that was on the market was not great either.
Yeah.
So we're looking at everything and going, well, how can we do things better? And then all of the this stuff about GVMs and everything's starting to fire up on that front, and we're like, we need to make a light winch. We just need to make a lightweight winch, and it'll sell. And we need to make it waterproof, and we just need to back it. We just need to make people 100% confident that if they have a problem, then they'll be supported. Yeah. So it was a fairly common sense approach. And so we just worked on those, I guess those briefing points and built a program around that. There was a lot of trial and error and testing and R&D and, we tried all these different manufacturing methods on, just trying to weight save. Like, how can we weight save? What sort of materials can we use? How small can we make parts but still handle the load? Yeah. And so there was a lot of trial and error through that.
Is there a bit of that there where, like, when you're doing that kind of design aspect where you can put, I'm trying to think of how this works. Like, I know when they're designing some stuff, you can put the parameters of it into a computer and it'll spit out whether it'll handle a load or not.
Yeah. But
then there's obviously other parts where you've got to just test it on the, in the field. Like, so I'm guessing there's been, because if you're going to go into an industry that's already kind of has a fair amount of product and equally as many problems, and go right, because that's whenever you're doing anything that's going to work out well, it's usually coming from a point of view of trying to add value to something, and so making a lighter winch that's going to handle more work and not be as pricey as other stuff that's out there. It's like, if you set yourself a fucking challenge, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Well, I guess I love the challenge, and I don't consider anything to be impossible. Yep. So we just worked on a lot of common sense parameters and working with some engineering partners. We were able to run, like back then, the access to things like FEA analysis was not, it wasn't as easy to access as it is now.
What's FEA analysis?
So that's finite element analysis. That's that's basically the software that you use to test load on a part. So you can, theoretically load test a part, and it'll give you a theoretical basically outcome as to how that part will handle under that sort of load.
Yep.
So that sort of testing is fairly common in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
When it comes to critical components, things like suspension arms and things like that, a lot of manufacturers are using that sort of software and technology, which a lot of it now is like Fusion 360 is one of the CAD programs that we use now, and that's got an FEA module to it. So we're able to model up a part and then apply a load to it, and get a theoretical idea of how that will handle.
Right. That might, I think that's what I was talking about. I just had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I've seen it on TV.
Yeah, you've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
FEA. It's just FEA, mate. It's just,
right, there you go.
But
then there's the practical.
Yeah. So and it's interesting how the theoretical applies when you push it out to the practical, because there's a lot of different elements to and factors that can change. So
and obviously you got to work on the idiot factor as well. So whatever you're sort of saying that it'll do, you got to make sure it'll handle variations of that.
Yeah, there's safety factor involved. So when we rate a winch, it's got a factor of X amount on top of the rating that we give it. But it's a constant learning game. You just never stop learning. So that initial winch was a great success for us. Like we sold out pretty much within 4 weeks of our first batch coming in.
Nice.
Which is great. And then we started getting all these trade inquiries, and we're like, we just want to sell a winch. Like, I just want to sell a winch. I don't want to sell it to anyone. Like, I had no ideas about, selling to anyone else really. It's just like, I just wanted a winch to sell, make some margin, pay the bills. But it was pretty quickly, it got on the radar of, the industry. And we started getting a lot of, businesses coming to us and saying, we want to sell your product. And we're like, okay, all right, that's
nice
cool.
Little compliment there.
That's great. Yeah. So, 2016, 2017 was a bit of a sort of fly by the seat of our pants to see how things went. And then things was ramping up, and we were like, all right, we probably need to get some additional help. So we, started hiring some more people. We got some higher level business minds involved to look at the, where the business could go.
Yep.
Because at the time it was I didn't have any major aspirations. I just wanted to be have a bit of freedom. Not work for anyone else, just do what I want when I want.
It's funny that you go into business going like, I'll be able to have a bit more fun and a bit more time off, and you end up fucking doing more hours than you were before.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trap, and those early days were pretty crazy in terms of you just got to put in, otherwise you don't get anything back out. So, 2017 we got a bit of advice, and that advice was like, you guys could do something really good with this. It could become something big. So we got a plan in place and started to execute that plan. And then, so that was end of 2017, we had that advice. And then 2018 came, and that was when I got sick of Phillip Island. So I'm like, I'm going to move to Tassie. Just because I can.
Right, okay.
So we made plans to move to Tassie. My fiance at the time was pretty keen. Yeah. And then she got pregnant. So we're like, all right, let's get married. Yeah. Get that done. And then 3 months later we're in Tassie. And then 3 months after that, COVID. COVID started 2019, and that was basically our whole Tassie experience was lockdown. So it was not a bad place to be. We had a beautiful spot down there, running the business remotely. So all the guys were still working out of South Gippsland.
Yep.
The business at the time, and our warehousing was all 3PL stuff. So it was all managed by a third-party logistics warehouse. Okay. So they were managing all our distribution at the time. So they had a pretty good setup. Like it was pretty good.
That sounds like a pretty good way to be running it.
Yeah. But then I'm like, I need a place to work. I can't really work from home. I've got a young kid and stuff like that. So I rented a shop down in Kingston, in just south of Hobart.
Yep.
And started doing some off-road stuff down there. And I'm a bit ADHD. Like I'm like, all right, I'm in a kind of rural area. I'm going to do off-road. But let's do some marine gear and let's do some rural stuff as well, Right. So we ended up just doing a bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think we did, I don't know, something like $500,000 out of the shop in the first year. Just didn't do really any advertising. It was me and another young guy, Steve, who a young 18-year-old. He used to come in and help me out. And but that was I was trying to run the business and run the shop. And it just after that year, I'm like, I got to get this is crazy. Like it's just, it's too much on my plate. So we ended up and things were still ramping up with Carbon. Like the brand was still growing. We were still putting a lot of effort into growing the brand at the time. So I needed to pull the focus back. Let's focus on that. COVID was sort of after 3 years. COVID was settling down. So we're like, right, let's really we need to get serious now. So that meant that we had to move back to the mainland, and just purely because we had no family down in Tassie.
Yeah.
We had no support. So,
it's a beautiful place to visit.
I've still got my house down there. I do want to spend some more time down there, but that time was pretty hard on Em, my wife. Yeah. It was really isolating, even though we're only 10 minutes out of town.
You get no family and a newborn.
Pretty crazy, and not even able to go to a play group or stuff like that. So
I can imagine that would have been hard.
Yeah. So anyway, the decision was made. Let's go back to the mainland, be closer to family. We're like, where are we going to go? All right. Well, my wife's family is New South based. My family was in Vic, but my sister was on the Gold Coast. So it's like, well, if we're close to my sister, then it's easier for my parents to come and visit us both. And Em's family's New South, so it's not hard for them to come up to the Goldie.
Yep.
So we're like, well, Southeast Queensland, it's pumping for off-road. So I had hired James as well, JD, our sales rep, and he was already Brisbane based, and there was a few other guys saying, yep, we'll jump on board if you come up. So I already had a few guys lined up by the before we really made the decision to move up. And anyway, we moved up Jan 2021. We moved in North Gold Coast, and got a factory over at the Marina Precinct at Coomera there, and off we went, And so we went from about, I think, we had about probably 4 staff, I think, when we moved up. Then it went up to about 8, and then we got rid of a few people, and then, the lease is finished a couple of years later. And so we've just moved again, only 500 metres down the road, but to a much bigger premises. Yeah. And there's, I think, 11 of us now.
Yeah, nice.
Which is really cool. The place we're in has got awesome street frontage as well, right on the corner of the Marina Precinct roundabout there. So thousands of cars going past, and we're still setting up. We've been in there for about 6 weeks, but it's just crazy the amount of how much it takes to move a business.
Oh shit, yeah. So what are you actually doing in there now? So obviously the winches is a big component, and anything to do with a winch, so all the recovery gear. But are you still playing around with all that fit out stuff with anything to do with the suspensions and everything else? Or?
So we have a suspension line as well, a shock absorber product line.
Yeah.
That is currently it's a 2-inch body monotube range. So
bring up the website. I think we've got, what have we got here? We've got Instagram, Facebook, all that. What's the...
carbonoffroad.com.au.
There you go, hit that up. Because it's, like when I remember when I first started looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, like the winches are cool. And then I was like, Jesus Christ, there's that much more stuff in there. There you go, that's it.
Yep. There you go, that just cost us 50 cents. Sponsored listing.
Click. No.
Winches and recovery, suspension, performance, electrical and camping. So we work with a few, partner
bloody
brands.
pop-ups.
I know. I actually spoke to my web guy today. I'm like, we gotta piss that pop-up off.
I think they were probably good 10 years ago.
Yeah,
everybody sees them now like fire pops.
Yeah. So we work. Yeah, we work with a few companies like Bushwhacker, for example, like Johnny and massive team down there. They just, do some really, really cool stuff. Love those guys. So awnings, vans, all that sort of stuff they do. We do a bit of stuff with EcoX as well.
Hit that suspension. Oh,
there we go. Yeah, just go down. You can scroll down, have a look at some of the stuff.
Yeah, right.
So this is all our the MT 2.0 range. So when we developed this range, our main focus was on ride quality. So it's like people are driving around 90% of their time, taking the kids to school, going to work, going home, and they're off-road maybe once or twice a month, for the standard dual cap, or the soccer mum rig.
Yeah.
So what we've noticed for many years is a lot of brands on the market don't really focus on ride quality. I don't know. Actually, honestly, I don't know what they focus on, but ride quality is definitely not one of them.
Yeah.
So what we focused on was ride quality. We're like, as soon as this customer takes a vehicle out of the shop, we want them to be blown away.
Yeah.
And that's possible to do that. And a lot of brands don't get it right. So we're like,
no,
let's do it ourselves. Anyway,
not just that, you can bloody, those. I try not to step on too many toes because it's on camera, But there's there's certain springs out there that you drive out of the driveway and they've already started sagging.
Yep.
So I get that. It's It's unfortunate though because it's like I think that the problem with it is that there's a few out there that do it well, and there's a few out there, and I think we had this conversation with Steve from In-House Fabrication. The drama is that there's a few brands out there these days that are resting on the efforts of years gone by and aren't doing shit anymore.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, the fact that you guys are getting into it. So, were you always doing that, or this is
like
the winches was an add-on to this, or this has come along with it, or
the winches were the first product.
Okay.
The reason we did suspension is because we were the Radflow USA Australian dealer for about 7 years.
Yep.
So we had a fair bit of experience in high-end, premium, monotube, race shocks, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
But we mainly focused on their OE replacement range. So we did a little bit of like off-road racing stuff, coilover setups and things like that. But our main bread and butter was just basically the OE replacement bolting gear.
Yeah.
And it was just a constant source of frustration with Radflow in terms of trying to work with them to develop their shocks to ride nicely at everyday road speeds, right?
Yeah.
So you chuck a 2.5 inch remote res, shock set into a Hilux or a Ranger, and it'd be down the road like 60 k's an hour, just bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
But then you get it out onto the dirt and you're doing 110, or 100 k's an hour on dirt, and the thing's like smooth as silk.
Yeah.
Beautiful, right? But how often are you doing that? So that was a real issue for us. And we ended up moving away from Radflow just because, it's just hard sometimes to work. The US guys sometimes struggle with understanding the Australian market, and we just kept telling them, like, guys, we need to like continue to refine what your product is. It's a beautiful product. It's a great product, beautifully manufactured.
Yeah.
But
do you think that's just because they're used to like their weight, their load of their rigs is so much heavier than our standard thing as well?
Yeah, possibly. Like I'd say they weren't really deviating too much on the valving setups for say a D-Max compared to like, I don't know, an F truck.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like half the size of the bloody thing.
Yeah, so it was pretty frustrating at the time, and that's why we just moved away from it. And then anyway, we started doing our own stuff, and we we do pretty well. The only issue with the monotube stuff, and it's a bit of a market issue, is that I don't feel like there's as many people out there willing to pay a premium price for a premium product anymore. I just feel like there's so much cheap stuff out there at the moment that people go, I can buy a set of shocks for, I don't know, $500.
We had this conversation with Steve too about the intercools and stuff, and it's like, and you mentioned them before. It's like that, like it's Super Center, Kings, that like the introduction of all that stuff through Action, I mean, look, I think there's more things there now that you can buy that are half decent than there used to be. Because I remember 4 or 5 years ago, like half the shit you'd go in there, you'd be like, I'm not buying that. But it becomes, and I stopped doing this maybe not years ago, probably 12 or 18 months ago. I had a conversation with a guy with regard to business stuff, and he goes, if you are selling shit on price, you're in a race at the bottom. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So whether it's Raptor or, I mean, any of the stuff that we do, I'm not the most expensive, but I'm not interested in the cheapest. When I get inquiries on stuff like, respray on such and such, I'll be like, well, the first part of it is that, the bookings are done at the shop to do the quote. I book a time, I'll set aside half an hour so I know what I'm dealing with, and I can take you through all your options. And that very quickly weeds out the people that aren't interested in even spending that amount of time to find out. And then there's the Action did it. And I remember I was away on a camping trip the night that this advertisement dropped with Action, which was spray your car in your driveway at home on the weekend for $1,000. I fucking rang Peter from Raptor that night about 10:30 at night. Was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, you can't spray this shit in a driveway, first of all, because it's going to coat everything. And second of all, it's like, you got guys like me that, look, don't get me wrong, I love the product. But the way it was marketed in that regard, I was like, dude, you're out of your mind. Like, people are you're going to have BMWs down the street coated in Raptor. People are going to be pissed. Anyway, so like that whole thing, I go, I'm not going to be the cheapest. I'm not going to be the most expensive. I'm going to charge what I think it's worth so that you get a job that I'm happy with and that you're happy with. That's all I'm worried about. But this whole race to the bottom shit, and it's a Super Center thing. Like can we get sued for saying that? I don't think we can get sued. They advertise themselves as being bang for buck, good value, whatever. I don't know. I'll blame him. But yeah, like it's that type of thing that they did. And if you're going to buy 400 shipping containers of things to get a good value, on your purchase price, which allows you to sell it cheap, fine. But half the stuff was crap back then, and it's that whole race to the bottom now. It's like even, I won't say the name, Barney will shoot me, but it's like Max Tracks. They're the more expensive option than other ones.
Yeah.
But that's because they're better. I don't care. It is what it is, Oh, yeah. Like I stir shit because all the boys in both the companies, like Max Tracks and Treads, they're all fun and they all stir each other up. And I think they're all owned by the same place now anyway.
Well, are they all in the same office now?
That's right. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. But like Steve said it really well. Like there's. And it would be the same with winches. Like he's like, with an intercooler, you might save $300 by going with someone else. But if it blows up and you're on the beach, what's a tow truck going to cost you?
Yeah.
The same thing with your winches. Like, they're not the cheapest on the market, but if your car sinks because your winch shits itself, what does that cost you?
Yeah. It's hard to.
I jammed a lot into that rant. Sorry.
Oh, where do you start?
I know. I know.
No, but look, it's that age-old thing. It's like the price and value equation. Consideration. Super Center, they have their winches. They sell a lot of them. I think their whole, I guess, philosophy on how they manage product is probably, if it breaks, we'll just give you a new one, sort of thing, and hope that the volume, covers the loss, sort of thing. But that, like you said, that's no good if the bloody thing's stuck on the beach and the tide's coming in.
Oh yeah.
And you got 3 cars with super center winches and they're all not working. But look, I think with all product, it's as long as you're constantly evolving and you're constantly developing and you're showing the market that you care. I think everything will be okay.
Well, you're obviously you're adding value to it. It's lighter. I mean, that winch that's there for the 80 build.
Yeah.
Like I was like gobsmacked. I was like, it's almost. I mean, I was going to be a bit cheeky and say it's like the box was fucking empty, but it's like but it's substantially lighter.
Yeah.
Like, what's the? Can you bring that up for me again? Because there's that many different winches in your range.
I know. We're like, let's just keep it simple.
Yeah.
We ended up having quite a few.
All right, so the 12,000 pounds.
So that's all the same winch, just with a different hook color. And then you got the Scout Pros as well, which is your second line down there. You got to go down and across. There you go.
Technical difficulty.
If you click on winches at the top there. It should give us a here we go.
There you
go. Bit of a rundown. So
I love that, the tank.
Yeah. It is a tank.
Indestructible, bulletproof, and powered like a tank. IP69. What the fuck does that mean? IP69K.
Oh, it's an ingress protection rating. So basically, the IP69K rating is kind of like an automotive specific rating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've seen that on like Spotties and that. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So there's like IP68, which is like a general sort of rating as well. So the 6 and the 8 represent certain levels of resistance, I guess, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
So like IP67 is the product will deal with being under 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes. So that's and still function.
Yeah.
So the IP68 is 1 meter of water, but for a user defined period of time greater than 30 minutes. So you can say that the winch is good for 45 minutes underwater.
Okay.
And it'll be rated IP68.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's IP69?
Well, that's
just leave it submerged and go and have a beer and come back and it'll still be good.
Actually, I'm not even gonna guess because I don't know right now, to be honest. The actual
it's better anyway.
Like it's better. It's from memory. I haven't even looked at it recently, but I'm not even going to guess. I could probably Google it. But that's just the designation that the manufacturer that we work with has applied to that winch.
Yep.
Now, just on the tank winch, that's kind of our premium offer.
Yeah.
It's from aesthetics, but one of the things that we do with the tank winch as well to get a higher rating is the motor and the drum assembly as one unit. During the assembly process, that whole unit is physically pressure tested. So that whole unit is pressure tested at 20 PSI. Right. So that's the equivalent of 14 meters underwater. So yeah, and it has to pass that test. So it's basically, it goes into a test jig, a big plate comes down on top and simulates the drum flange, the winch drum flange, pushing on the seals on the inside at the same amount of pressure that is applied when it's bolted together. And then through that plate is they pump 20 PSI of air into it.
Yeah.
And it has to hold 20 PSI before it's able to move on to the next part of the assembly process.
I think 14 meters underwater, you've got substantially more problems.
Yeah, 20 PSI, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like the seals, the tank is probably, I'd say it is the best sealed winch in the world, easily. There is no other winch company I know that apply that test to a winch in pre-production, like pre-assembly.
Yeah, right.
So that's one of the big features of the tank winches that...
And that's 20,000 pounds.
So up to 20, yeah. So we've got a 12,000 a 15,000 and a 20,000 pounds. So the 12 and the 15, they are basically a full drive size winch.
Yep.
And then we've got the 20,000, which is a big frame, larger frame winch.
I
was just going to say, the 20,000 is about 34 kilos fitted weight, right? So that's over 20 kilos lighter than the next equivalent product on the market. So
yeah,
it's huge.
But that's for your big F
trucks.
F.
Well,
the
depending on
stuff.
depending on the bar, you can fit it to like a Ram or an F truck. But Isuzu, MPS.
That's what I was thinking. The big Isuzu trucks. Yeah.
The Fuzos, the Unimogs. We got a few fitted on Unimogs.
Yeah.
SCF Fabrications. They've got one on their Unimog, and we were just over at Unidan Engineering today as well. If you want to be impressed, go and drop in and see those guys at Yatala. They've got probably about 40 Unimogs out the front, like they're working on at the moment. It's mind blowing. Like,
what are they? They're just all customer rigs, or they build them?
They build them. They build these everything from brand new Unimogs through to like full restos on the ex-army ones. Yeah. So you can buy an ex-army single cab Unimog, and you take it to Unidan. They've got extra cab and dual cab conversions that they'll do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's amazing what they do. They've got all this crazy fabrication stuff. They've got robot welders, a huge 6 kilowatt laser,
Jesus.
CNC press brakes, like 5-axis CNC. They've got all the stuff, and they make a lot of most of their product in house. But
I'm sitting there fucking English wheel and shit on my own.
Wow. They've been around for a while, and they're probably one of the world leaders in terms of like Unimog overland builders. Like they just do a phenomenal job. They're super committed. The product is second to none. It's not cheap, but what you get for your money is awesome value.
Well, that's that sort of build. I mean, it's. Even some of the stuff we've done down here. We did one of the Isuzus. That was one of them extra cabs. Had the 4 doors and all that big alley thing on the back of it, and we had a bit of fun with that. But but it was some of the stuff that you see getting around there. You sell your house because you're gonna live out of the thing. That's all you're gonna do is tour.
Well, some of the new Mog builds that they do thanks mate, are over $1 million. Like,
really
serious money.
Damn. I'll
thanks mate.
$1 million.
Yeah, we just bought a truck. I don't know if you saw it, but we've only just put out a couple of posts, but we just bought a MPS 300.
Yep.
4x4 truck.
Yeah.
The truck winches have been going really well. So we figured, let's buy a truck. We needed a work vehicle, like for the shop.
R&D. R&D. Oh yeah.
That's the that's Simon's Iveco.
Yep.
I don't think we've actually I think we've only put up a couple of reels. That one there.
Blue.
That second one in the middle. There's a little clip of the
click on that one there. Got any volume on that?
Sorry. Oh, there you go. Just need to click the volume button in the corner of the.
What is going on here?
Oh, we're just talking crap about the.
Oh, there we go.
A winch truck. Winch truck. Yeah. Winch truck. Yeah. Winch truck. Winch truck. Something like this. Something like that.
Oh yeah.
What do you reckon, boys? It's a win. It is a win. Here we go. The Carbon winch truck. Stay tuned for some more updates.
Nice.
What are you talking about, Cal?
So what's the plan for that?
Well,
everything.
Well, we're up at we're talking to Dan at Unidan this morning, and so they're going to build a bar for us on the front. Cool. We're going to have a rear winch cradle plus recovery point plus tow hitch cradle thing fitted to the back as well. So that'll be cool. Have front and rear winches.
Yeah.
We'll probably have a winch up on the tray as well, and we're a winch company. We're going to put like 4 or 5 winches on the thing.
Fair enough, too.
But yeah, we're going to keep it as a tray. So it's going to be kind of like our toy hauler. Because we've got our TJ Wrangler, which is our off-road shop rig.
Yep. And
we've just bought another car, which we're building into an Ultra 4 mod class off-road racer. So that's a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4.7 V8.
Oh, the V8, yes, I did see. I did see that video.
One?
Yes, yes.
So we're super excited about that thing, man.
With a fucking pod filter jamming out the bonnet. Looked like it was going to be.
That's a Mad Max setup for sure. Oh, look, I think we're going to probably build a box for it. You know, water and all that sort of stuff. We'll probably punch a hole through the firewall and run it in there or something. But we're super excited. V8 monocoque chassis. It's going to be super light. We're going to chop the crap out of it. 6-point cage, race seats, fully CAMS compliant. We're going to go race it, Ultra 4 racing, but we'll probably try and do some winch challenges and things like that as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And just get out there, and our aim is to show people that you can get involved in off-road racing without spending a huge amount of money. So
see, that's what we need to be doing, not this fucking go-kart and shit.
So I only started last week. I just started ripping stuff out. So we're going to do a build series on YouTube for that as well. So we're just filming. We've got a bit of backstory. We got a segment with the original owner of the Jeep as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was really cool. I went to pick it up from northwest of Brizzy. And that's going to be, the start of the build. But what we're trying to do is just inspire people to get involved. So years ago, when we were based in Victoria, we did some winch challenge comps as well. So and we built a cheap Jeep again down there. It was an XJ Cherokee, that one, straight 6, 4 litre. This time we went for the 4.7 V8. Just purely because it's got 100 more horsepower, and it's still it's not crazy power. It's 230 or 240 horsepower or something. But we know from previous experience that a lot of the other rigs out there are like a fast rigging, like winch comps and things like that, are putting about 150 kilowatts down, like to the wheels. So we think that we're probably going to be maybe a little bit less than that, but we're going to be super light.
I was going to say, you're not going to weigh fuck all.
Nah, we're chopping basically everything above the door line is pretty much coming off. So the cage is going to tie everything together because it's a monocoque chassis. It's not like body on chassis setup. It's all kind of one piece. You've got to be kind of careful when you're chopping them, because otherwise I'll just like fold up. But but the cage, the good thing about the cage is that you can chop a vehicle like that but still maintain all the structural integrity. And this particular vehicle's got a fully engineered long arm four link kit in the rear end as well.
Nice.
So, and the kind of side benefit of that is that it's got an extra cross member already fitted in the back of the chassis. So it's gonna stop it from coming together once we start cutting into it. But
you'll brace all the inside before you cut the roof off anyway, right?
All that. We'll probably do that.
Write that down.
Write that down, Johnny.
If you want the doors to stay being functional,
well, honestly, I think we're going to cut as much as we can out of the thing. So the rules are we have to maintain about 50% of the body shape. So like the side profile.
Technically, that only means the shell.
So anyway, we're going to basically keep the doors in the front, but we're going to cut from where the shock mounts are on the rear. Pretty much we're going to cut the whole back of the car off. So about half a metre of the back of the car is coming off.
Oh, that's going to be so cool.
So anyway, stay tuned.
I
have not been as excited about something for a long time. I'm passionate. I love our business. I love what we do. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's coming up as well. We're doing some crazy stuff with winches as well. But to actually get out there and be part of the community inspire people, help people out. We're sponsoring the Springs 4x4 Park this year.
Yep.
And the Ultra 4 event series. We're sponsoring them as well. So we're trying to get out there as much as we can and just be involved. We love it. It's just, there's so many passionate people out there. Like when we go out to the Springs, for example, and there's like 300 cars there on a weekend. It's just people are camping, they're having fun, going out wheeling. We went to the night run that they did late last year, I think.
Yeah.
And we put the TJ through that. It was one of the most crazy experiences of my off-roading life ever.
Yeah.
Like, because the guys from Hardcore came along and they lit up Battle Axe Gorge.
Yep.
And yeah, they had all the buggies running up through there, and they advertised it really well. So there was probably, I don't know, something like 200 spectators there. Like, you come around the corner into the gorge where the big waterfall is, the rock steps.
Yeah.
And there's like, the whole thing's lit up like an arena. And there's like a couple hundred people there, like cheering everyone on, all the drivers to get through and, climb this bloody waterfall. And super exciting, man.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just, you got to keep an eye out. If they advertise another night run, like even if you're not going to go drive, just go there and hang out and watch it.
I have just as much fun being a spectator.
Yeah.
I love
the
it.
people had an absolute blast just being there watching what was going on. So we're super keen to keep that vibe happening and, just get involved, do this build series, show people, give people all the tools. Like, we've got a live spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So we're going to be tracking all our expenses, all our suppliers, where we get everything from.
For this build?
Yeah, for the build.
Yeah,
right. We'll link that in the YouTube descriptions and things like that, just so, we want to be transparent, but we also want to show people that you can, you can do this on a budget.
Yeah.
Compared to, say, spending 100 or 200,000 or 300 or 400 or 500 grand on an Ultra 4 buggy. Mod class is a good class because you can start with a fairly basic rig. You could go down to like the guys at Superior or somewhere like that, or just buy a whole underbody set up for a GQ.
Yeah.
And you're off and racing basically.
Yeah.
So it can be done. But yeah, we're gonna just give it a crack, and I think we're going to be pretty competitive.
I like it.
We'll see.
I'm
super keen, but we just want to inspire people. I just feel like, and this is, I guess, kind of going back to my outdoor ed roots in terms of just giving people the tools and the knowledge and the skills to, believe in themselves, that they can do things, they can do this, you can do it. It's a really, especially in this day and age, there's just so much bullshit going on.
There is. It's fucked.
It's like, let's get back to our roots. Let's get back to what's important. If you like off-roading, get into it.
Yeah.
Just get into it in any way that you can. So that's all we're trying to do. And, and just give back a little bit to the community as well. So, we're as active as we can. We've got a really good kind of affiliate program up and running now as well. So if people want to be an advocate for our brand, they can also get a return from that. But we also do a really cool thing with the clubs as well. So we give clubs can come on board. We give all their members a discount.
Yep.
But we also give we give back. So we give the members a discount, but we also give the club a commission on all the sales that they get from their club members as well.
Yeah,
so we
nice.
actually pay the club. We give basically donate money to the club as well.
Yeah.
As kind of our way of just trying to support, people. Clubs are great organisations. There's, a lot of people giving a lot of time. So we're just trying to, integrate and help out where we can. But
yeah, I think that's awesome. It's a big thing to be able to give back. Sean, you want to hit that aircon, man? It's getting fucking cold in here.
It's pretty cold.
Just turn it off. There you go. Jesus Christ, you're going to let the fucking penguins out when we open the doors. Shit. It's fucking hell, man. I just need to start bringing a jumper down. Crikey.
That's a good aircon.
It's not bad. It's like 7 kilowatts in the space.
This was just one room.
In this
Holy
little
shit.
room. It was like $300 more than that from the 3 kilowatt. He was like, no, I'll hook you up, right? I'm
Holy shit.
like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I guess during summer, though, it'd get pretty warm in
and
here.
this shed gets fucking hot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But no, I think it's an interesting area with it too, because I had Brendan from New Wave Care down, and he takes people with disabilities out, like fishing, camping, touring, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, cool.
And we started talking about like the whole mental health aspect of getting out and getting around nature, and whether it's fishing, even fall driving, just going up and having a blood up at wherever your local is. Obviously for us, it's Glassy.
Yep.
But that reset, that recharge, and that nature, and I don't know, it's a bit of adrenaline, it's a bit of fun, it's a bit of banter and bullshit, and especially when guys get out and all this fucking PC shit these days. Like, it's like you need to get out and stir each other up and have a bit of fun. You fucked that up and whatever else, and that releases just all of the built up tension.
Yeah.
And I think the Springs, obviously that's like one of the few that are left. I mean, I shouldn't say one of the few that are left, but obviously Land Cruiser, Mountain Park shutting down. Yeah. The Springs is, it's stood on its own anyway, but being one of the only ones left, it's like, I agree, you don't need $100,000 truck. I mean, like, I'm sure we'd all love one, but you don't have to have it. Like we've got a build that we're doing for a customer at the moment. One of the episodes that we're doing is that little long wheelbase Zook out there.
Yeah, nice.
And it's like, I mean, Jesus, I remember kicking around in one of them 5 years ago. 25. How old are we this year? 34, yeah, 18, 19, 25 years ago. Dicking around up in the quarry at the back of bloody Caboolture and putting the thing on its side. We just got out, picked it up, and kept going. You don't, and I mean, that thing there, that, I don't know what it owes her to own, but by the time that's done, she's going to be in that thing, I don't know, 20 grand, 30 grand. Like, I don't know what they're selling for, but that's, like, that little thing would be a heap of fun off-road.
Oh, shit, yeah. I'm most people that do know me from a while back know that that's where I started with Zooks. I had first car I ever owned was a hardtop 1.3 litre Sierra.
The baby motor.
Yep. Yeah. And then I bought a soft top and then put a 20 valve 4AGE silver top in that. With a 3-speed auto from an AA71 Corolla. Right. Worked out, just bolted on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Same bolt pattern. I'm like, and then, we made up a custom jack shaft to the standard Sierra transfer, put some lockers, ran a lock right in the rear and an air locker in the front, 34-inch swampers, 456 ratio gears.
34s on that.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, red line at 8,500 RPM, out in the foothills of the Great Dividing Range down in southeastern Victoria. All the really nice. You could go from really slick clay like the Glassy, like very similar to the Glassy, out to these like topsoil black bogs. It's just beautiful. Like, that's where I grew up in southeast Vic. The Zook was an absolute beast of a rig. Put a few years of, I think it took me about 3 years to get the engine conversion done. You know how it is, just like those home builds. Like, I
got one going on here, and it's like in my face every day, and it's still taking forever.
Yeah, that's where I started with the Zook. So I got a lot of respect for what they are capable of, and if that's the tool that you use to get out bush, then that's awesome. But I wanted to come back to what you said about you know, like getting away from it all with the boys and everything like that. That's 100%. That's super important. One of the things that we used to talk about and in Outdoor Ed, and something that I hold really close to my heart in terms of my philosophy on the outdoors is, and it came from one of the early conservationists, Peter Dombrovskis down in Tasmania. He was a wilderness photographer.
Okay.
Right. So he was one of the guys that was integral in showcasing the Tassie wilderness to the Australian public and how important it was, you know, as its own entity sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he used to go, I'm going to absolutely mash this quote, right? But it's something along the lines of, when you get out there amongst it all, you're not getting away from it all. You're getting back to it all. You're coming back to what's important. You're coming back to yourself, right? So that whole concept of escapism, you know, like we're getting away. We're getting away from the bullshit, you know? Yeah. Like, yes, we're getting away from it. But when you actually really think about it deep down, we're actually getting back to our roots. We're getting back to it. We're getting back to what humans, without all the bullshit, take all the bullshit away, we're getting back to who we are, like, as animals. I don't know. Like, like, what's important is our connection with nature.
Well, like 80 years ago, there was nobody that wasn't a farmer. 80,
that's right.
Years ago, you know, like that's it. We haven't been in this type of, I don't know if you want to get deeper into it, into the whole like, you know, DNA memory type stuff. Like, you know, we haven't been in this type of lifestyle for the majority of people's lives. You know, it's
less than 100 years.
This is pretty new. You know, as far as the what our, you know, history and God, what gets passed down through generations and all that sort of stuff, we're not that far away from people that were still running away from fucking, you know, things that could eat you.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's the whole, I guess, concept around that quote.
I agree. I think that's an awesome quote.
Yeah, and just flipping it on its head. It's like, we're not getting away from it all. We're actually getting back to it all.
Yeah, I love that.
You know,
that's good.
And I live with that mantra. That's part of who I am, and, you know, I guess what I believe in terms of what the outdoors has to offer for people. It's about getting back to our roots and you know, giving ourselves the time and the space and putting that energy towards that part of our lifestyle that is really rewarding. You know.
Yeah.
And so, what do you remember? Do you remember sitting at work all fucking day? Like, do you remember sitting at work doing that, or do you remember those times where you're out there with the boys smashing up the rigs? You know, like what are the things you talk about 10 years down the track? You know, you're talking about that time that, you know, Jono popped the bead off Little Red, you know, and it started raining, and his missus wanted to go home, and that was bloody hilarious. And you know, like, they're the memories. You know, building memories. Like, what else have we got in life? You know, I don't know, but
and it would be, you can compound that by people that don't, you know, I mean, you seem a lot like me, like, you know, you love what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so we get that little bit of buzz about, you know, going to work each day. Like, one of my dramas is turning my head off, you know, because I'm like, you know, you just everything's always go, and what's next, and, you know, whatever you got going on. But I think that's probably pretty few and far between. There's a lot of people out there that are like Monday morning alarm, and they're like, fuck off. You know, they're living for those trips.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, and I mean, fuck, I couldn't imagine. I say this fucking every time. Like, it feels like forever. It's been ages since I've gone away. And every time I say this, he doesn't really care, but every time I say this, I bring up Barney because he stirs me up, because he's like, stop fucking talking about Kinkuna. But you know, it's that's my spot is the beach.
Yeah.
Is that just that fresh air, the smell, the noise. Like, I love, if I ever get to a point where I can't sleep, I'll turn that waves crashing, whatever. That shit. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Just out like a light. God. Yeah. It does. It's just, it's like, it's like it reinvigorates you, but it also calms you at the same time. It's weird. I think
the bush, the beach,
any of it,
the high country. Spent a lot of time in the Vic High Country, and also not so much time, but the New South Wales High Plains.
Okay.
And yeah, there's something about it. Like down the beach, like the fresh, salty air.
Yeah.
The sound, the warmth. Up in the high country, it's just the crisp, fresh air.
Just the air,
The air quality is just, it's something different. It's like nothing else that you can experience anywhere else in Australia.
No.
And that's why I think, that sort of getting back to it all, like people do that by default, like, but it's just about understanding, how important that is. Like,
yeah.
Making it a priority. We're getting away from it all, but we're actually getting back to it all. Like people know that when they go out to the beach or when they go to the bush, that something happens in their brain that relaxes them, like they enjoy being there. It resets their mind, their body. So, I think like humans are built to, be connected with nature as such. And I think Australia in general, we're really lucky that we've got a lot of opportunity, to get out there. And
we've got everything. We've got snow, we've got desert, we've got beach, we've got bush, we've got isn't that something that, because Shawnee's ex-forces, isn't that something the Americans send people over here to train because we've got like every type of different climate?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. It's we've got everything. Anything you could want to experience, we've got it.
Yeah. And so, it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are. Like the four-wheel drive industry, through COVID just boomed.
Yeah.
That was a testament to what, people were sitting around in lockdown and they're going, well, what's really important to me? And they're like, going out bush.
Yeah.
So, right, we've got to build our rigs. That money that we had to go to Bali or, go to Europe, let's blow 20 grand on the rig and then we can go traveling around Australia and get our fix.
But I totally agree. I really want to bring it back because we haven't spoken about that at all on this. I really want to bring it back to how you can do it pretty cheap. Like there's, because I mean, I'm always scrolling Marketplace because I can't help myself.
Of course. Yeah.
But like you could go out and grab like an old fucking, I don't know, like a 2004 RAV4 for $4 grand.
Yep.
Or a Jeep, a non-V8 Jeep. What are they? They're going to be going for like $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah. Well, just to give you an example, like when we were looking around for rigs for the Ultra 4 rig, on Marketplace, like just within Brizzy, 100 Ks from Gold Coast, there were 4 rigs, all V8s, all really good nick, $3 grand, $4 grand.
The V8s were $3 grand.
Yeah.
Shit.
Our rig that we got, it's $2 grand.
Bullshit.
$2 grand.
God, there has been a massive COVID correction.
And so $2 grand we paid, and we got a full spare parts car, like full of additional parts, right? So we got a full car spare.
Yeah.
And that's got an engine and transmission and everything like that.
That's another V8.
Yeah, another Grand Cherokee, which the guy's given us. And he's like, oh, I've got another motor and transmission under the house, and you can have that as well. We're like, you're kidding. We're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, Andy, you're absolute Andy. I'm going to send you a link to this so you can watch it, mate, but you're an absolute legend. And we still need to come pick up the stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, $2 grand. We got basically a runner, like one that, we can just basically put on the road and rego, which is our donor car.
Yeah.
And then we got the parts car and another full engine and transmission for $2 grand. Like,
good Lord.
You can do it. XJ Cherokee, right? One of the most underrated rigs on earth. Like, no, I won't say on earth because they love them in the States.
Yeah.
Try and buy an XJ in the States at the moment. Like, you're going to be paying premium. But here, one of my boys at work, he was saying today, there's a diesel Cherokee for sale for $700 in the Goldie. You can buy that. It's on Marketplace apparently.
Yeah,
But
the Americans love their Jeeps.
yeah, but you can, like, if you're not going out and saying busting it up on, you know, the Canyon or Big Red or something like that in the Goldie, like an XJ will do that with some mods, right?
Yeah.
But you can buy an XJ for like $2,000 and wheel it stock, like put some 31s or 32-inch muddies on it,
Yeah.
2-inch lift, get some recovery gear, put a winch on it, and off you go. Like easily under $5,000, and you've got a rig that will take you around Australia. The great thing about the American cars like the XJ is parts availability is really, really good, really cheap, direct out of the States. So you can go on to rockauto.com and buy everything for that car and have it delivered from the US like in a couple of days.
Maybe we should tell Ruben about that.
Don't tell Ruben.
he was having some dramas with fucking axles or something.
Oh, with his Gladiator or something? Or
Yeah, it was I can't remember what they were doing, but whatever it was if you had this model and you wanted to do something, you needed to get the Model Downs axles.
Oh, okay.
But it was they went through a few.
Yeah.
It was causing him some fucking heartache.
Yeah, I went on a trip with him with Simon last year. He's pretty hard on the gear.
Doesn't mind a bit of carnage, old Ruben. Yes.
But yeah, look, Jeeps, Australians are slowly coming around. Like, you know, we saw the fellas at Four Drive 24/7. You know, they've started wheeling Jeeps. They went over to America. They've got the bug.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because you'd think that they were all, you know, traditionally Nissan, Toyota.
Yes, it's cruisers and patrols.
Yeah,
We're a country of cruisers and patrols.
Yeah. The JK Wrangler, you know, you can pick one of them up for 10, 15 grand.
Look, I looked at whatever the long wheelbase Wrangler is, the 4-door soft top.
Yeah. I
have had a design for, God, at least 3 or 4 years now to do a build on one of them.
Yeah.
I put it together for a customer and he ended up, he was trying to get finance or something. He couldn't do it. But I put the build concept together for him.
Yeah.
And it's just sat with me. And every now and then I'll look at it and I'm like, fuck, I really would.
Well, if you're wheeling the Glassy and stuff like that, they're about the best rig you can get.
That's the thing. It's I think they're like the Jags. It's like there's a period of time where there was something wrong with them. I don't know whether it was like mechanical or electrical or whatever, but they developed a stigma about them and then it just fucked it from there on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that right now there's, you know, really good opportunities and like you're saying, like the market's kind of tanking a bit.
It is.
So there's going to be some good deals coming up.
Yeah.
Like the TJ Wrangler, you know, the earlier one, the 97 to 2006 range.
Yep.
They're actually holding value. Like, but the JKs are a little bit more expensive, but you know, for a kitted out, like a JK Rubicon, the one with the Dana 44s and the lockers, the low range, you know, you're still paying maybe 30 to 40 for a good one.
Yeah.
But you can buy one of the stock, you know, like the Unlimiteds or something like that. They're really well known for banana in their axle housings.
Yep.
So, but you can buy a sleeve kit. So, you know, basically like a sleeve that goes up the inside of the axle tube and it just gets plug welded in. You know, it's a pretty simple mod, and that fixes that issue. There's a couple other little small things that are, you know, probably niggly with them, but yeah, you know, parts availability really good. Put a decent, you know, 3.5-inch lift kit, some adjustable arms, similar types of things of what you'll do with a patrol or a cruiser.
Yeah.
You know, shocks, coils, arms, uppers and lowers, and, you know, some good rubber, and you're pretty good to go. But
there's one getting around. It's hit Google for a sec. There's one getting around. Someone's done. I don't know if you'd call it a chop because it's a soft top, but someone's done like a single cab which I think might have started as that, like an unlimited.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've done a chassis extension. Do single cab Wrangler. What would you write? Single cab Wrangler. Just do single cab Wrangler Ute.
Wrangler. Wrangler.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Back.
Just go single cab Jeep JK or something. Try that.
What was that, sorry?
Single cab Jeep JK. Or Jeep Wrangler.
There you go. Jeep Wrangler. Single cab Jeep. There you go. Hit that.
Yeah.
And then hit images. Yeah, you need Ute. It's going to mess with you.
Oh, there's a few.
Yeah, it's like, go up, right Ute. Because it was a tray back, not a style side. It had a canopy and shit on it.
Oh. Is that for sale? Is that well, there was one for sale recently I saw, actually.
I don't know where I saw it, but I looked at it and it was just, it's not even on Google.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, just the standard soft tops with I think they're just the unlimited ones. Like, I can't believe there's not even a photo of one. That's right. Just go back up and just go, oh God. Just go Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. And then just get rid of the single cab in front of it. Yeah, so basically what they'd done, if you can find a side-on one, all they'd done was there might have been about 100 mil behind the front door.
Yeah, right.
And then it was tray and canopy.
Yeah.
Like had the toolboxes underneath and everything.
Yeah, I think I saw that recently.
It was cool. I was like, that's actually a pretty cool looking rig. So, and I mean, they're getting cheap enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think the last one I saw that had maybe, I don't know, 150,000 Ks on it. Nothing special. Was like, I don't know, it might have been 12, 13 grand.
Yeah. I saw a, first one I've ever seen, a chopped FJ Cruiser.
Oh, I saw that today. Yes.
Yeah.
That's doing Dave, one of my detailers.
Tin Man Fabrications or something.
Yeah, I think he had like a GQ rear wall that he said he put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of fun.
Haven't seen that ever.
No.
That's the first FJ Cruiser I've seen chopped.
I think so. I think Toyota really cut themselves off at the knees by not putting something.
It's a modern take on the 45 series. Like single cab tray.
Yeah. It's a 45. So I've got a 45 down on my bucket list builds. 80 series chassis, LS swapped.
Oh yeah.
All the fun.
Oh.
All the fun.
A guy I used to work with, Carbon Offroad, who he used to do some fabrication work down in Victoria. He had basically 45 series, 80 series chassis, full coils all round, done 60s, 454, big block.
Jesus.
Like, I think it was on like 37 or 38 inch swampers.
Yeah.
Like, the thing was insane. Like it would throw mud brick chunks of mud out the back.
Yeah.
Wild hearing it through the bush. Like you'd hear it coming and you'd just be like, it sounds like it was otherworldly to listen to a 454 coming through the bush.
That'd be a bit of fun.
Yeah. We looked at a Cherokee Chief with a 454 and 4L80 auto set up recently. Yeah. Yeah, like an 85 model. And it's like a single cab with a single cab but wagon. Yeah. Like the old full-size Jeeps.
Yes.
Very cool. It's for sale. Unfortunately, we did put an offer in it, but it was probably a little bit low for the guy, so he wasn't keen. But I was thinking about maybe I could daily that. Like, because I need a daily at the moment.
I want Australian stuff. You watch these American shows, and they get around in those bloody like 5-seater side by side looking buggies.
Yeah,
and they can register them over there. That's what we need.
Yeah,
That's what we need over here.
It was pretty. It was like in those, sort of notes that you sent me. You're like, oh, what's your ultimate build, Dan?
Yeah.
And we've spent a lot of time talking about the ultimate build.
Yeah.
And it would be very similar to like those buggies, but
Yep.
with, I think the most ultimate build would be something like basically like a 4 or 5 seater, so 2 rows
Yep.
of seats, basically a full body rig, but it's got like IFS front and rear, like basically pretty much a road going Ultra 4 buggy.
Right. Right.
So 20 inches of wheel travel, 37s stock, some sort of crazy at least 500 horsepower.
Oh god.
But this is like the ultimate, the ultimate build.
Yeah.
Something that you can drive on the road, right?
Yeah.
But then just, do, basically do a chem block and just take it off road, straight off, launch it, hit everything as hard as you can, but just completely street legal. So it meets all the ADRs. It's got, imagine that, airbags. It comes stock, 37s, like 10 inches of wheel travel up and down, front and rear. It's got your, say 4-seater, right?
Yeah.
So full, like 4 bucket seats. It's got a wagon or a tray in the back, So, but that could be modular, right? You could have that as a tray, but you could put a box on the back. So then you could put all your camping shit in there. But on the way to camp, you can just jump everything.
I love it.
Yeah, that's obviously you got front and rear winches, lockers. The thing will hit beer o'clock hill at
Full noise,
100 k's an hour or something, like, and then you pull your coffee machine out of the back and crack an espresso at the top.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah,
I think you're going to fall under the ICV category with that one.
yeah, but that would be all right, wouldn't it?
Well, well, shit. What are them? We spoke about this. Like, what's the V8 Utes that jump shit on the circuits? The race trucks.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like a Ute, but it's like they jump stuff.
oh, the stadium super trucks or stadium?
Yeah,
stadium trucks.
Yeah, you need like a dual cab version of one of them
pretty much
with a canopy.
Yeah, you could have
and a coffee machine.
Yeah. Oh, why not?
That's cool.
Wouldn't that would be the ultimate rig? Like something. Can you have it all? Maybe. Like, but the being able to have something that might be able to sit on, I don't know, like 15 litres per 100. So then it'd be okay to be able to like do a bit of a longer range touring trip in it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, like.
Well, you can't start with an 80 because Sam Young's just proved that. He's got all the suspension you could possibly want, all the horsepower you could possibly want. Yeah. The first trip out broke shit.
Yeah, well, no, you wouldn't. It would be like a full. There's nothing on earth that I know.
You couldn't. There's nothing to start from. You'd have to literally just start from the chassis and design shit.
Yeah, that was, and we've played around with the concept. Like we have spent some time on that concept, but to bring it to market, to bring it to a reality is, obviously the first ones you'd have to do some sort of ICV certification process to get it on the road. But and right now we don't have the time. We're building a truck. We're building the Ultra 4 rig.
Yeah,
we've still got the TJ that we're always working on as well. Yeah, it's pretty funny. We don't have any Toyotas. I don't think we got any Toyotas or any Nissans in the car park at work.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty strange.
Well, look, I mean,
for an off-road business,
but you're going your own way.
Yeah,
it's like you've found your either by default or by just we
love just doing stuff different.
Yeah,
I look at a 79 series and I'm like, nah, just doesn't do it for me. A 200 series, we've done a lot of work with 200s. They're good for what they are, But yeah, we designed some suspension like 2.5-inch remote res, really nice suspension package for them.
Yeah.
We think we've got the best suspension package for them on the market in terms of ride quality. Okay. But even still, they're still a pig, Like, they're a great rig. They're super comfy, but, they're just not a rig that I aspire to have. So, yeah. Anyway, the ultimate build, yeah. Pipe dream at the moment.
Look, hey, you got to have a goal,
Yeah, look, it might happen at some stage.
Yeah,
because we were playing around with the concepts of building some, building some like kit frames and things like that for the Ultra 4 buggy racing, and but there's just not, the market's not big enough here in Australia for it, unfortunately. So, we like doing stuff like that. It's like, how can we, do something different? But with the winches, for example, we're just super focused on the winches, our recovery gear, and the continued development there. So we haven't put out a huge amount of content, but we are playing. We're releasing a brushless winch motor range this year, as well. So brushless winch technology, it's basically it's a lot more efficient than the brushed winch motors that we use right now.
Yep.
And so, we're ticking the boxes on weight and power. We've also got high voltage options coming on as well. So a few of the truck builders that we work with, they're all putting 48-volt lithium setups in there now. So
48?
Yeah.
Shit.
So we've got a fully functioning, working 48-volt winch at work at the moment.
Right.
And, just to give you an idea on, like, just the rough metrics, just so you get an idea of the potential and what's coming, which is really bloody exciting. So one of our prototype motors, our standard motor on the 12K is about 9.5 kilos, right?
Right.
So the 12-volt, 6 horsepower motor is about 9.5 kilos in weight. The prototype brushless that we did is only 1/3. So it's about 3 kilos.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 3 kilos. It's 48 volt, brushless, variable speed control. So, a standard winch right now is either on
or off.
On or off, right? Yeah. So brushless, we've got a fully programmable ESC. So we can do a world of different setups on the ESC.
Yeah.
And one of those things is variable speed back and forward. So you can go as fast as you want, as slow as you want in forward and reverse, which is really bloody good when you're four-wheel driving, because you'll be able to match the winch rope speed to however fast you're moving forward as you're winching. So, so that's pretty cool. So we've got basically 1/3 the weight. The size is a lot smaller as well. Variable speed control, full diagnostics as well. So if you've got a compatible display, you'll be able to read what's happening with your winch. In terms of current draw, RPMs, heat as well. We're tracking heat in the motor. There's just a few metrics that we're tracking. And one of the really cool things is the performance, right?
Yeah.
Mate. So our standard 12K, does pulls 4.5 tons at 1.2 meters a minute. That's the line speed. Okay. So it'll drag 4.5 tons at 1.2 meters a minute, right? So our brushless winch, and all we've done, it's a retrofit. So all we've done is unbolt the motor, 12-volt motor, bolt our 48-volt motor on.
Yeah.
And at 48 volts, it was doing 9.8 meters a minute at 4.5 tons, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. So we're going from 1.2 to 9.8 meters. In line speed, 4.5 tons, dragging nearly 10 meters a minute.
1.2 a minute. So 1,200.
So basically, it would move from here to here. It'd take the standard winch, which is pretty standard across the board, but that distance, it'd take a minute for our standard winch to pull 4.5 tons, right?
I'm thinking, because it's 4.5. So
that's a lot.
What's a cruiser, 2.5?
Yeah. So at lower speeds, it's more like 12 meters a minute or something, right?
Yeah, okay.
But what we were doing to test it was we were skull dragging our forklift at work, right?
Okay.
Which is 4.5 tons. We had the brake fully locked on, and we were literally skull dragging it across the warehouse.
Yeah, right.
So we tested with a 12 volt, tested with a 48. Now the beauty of our system is that we can run the voltage all the way up to 100 volts DC. And
Right.
so we tested it. At that time, we had the capability to test it up to 60 volts.
Yep.
Anyway, took it up to 60 and it went to 17 meters a minute in line speed. So,
Good Lord.
yeah, we were like literally dragging a 4.5 ton forklift, 17 meters a minute across the factory floor.
What does that do for current draw for like the setup that you need to actually power? Because that sounds like a flat battery real quick.
Yeah, well, the beauty about high voltage is that your current comes down, right? So as your voltage goes up, your current goes the 12 volts, at stall, the 12 volt motors at stall are about 400 amps.
Yeah.
So with 48, you're basically working at 1/4 of that.
Yeah.
So, we were under 200 amps. So
Really?
yeah. So
I guess you're not going to be on it long because you're going to get you out of trouble quick.
Yeah, bloody oath. But the end result is that brushless technology, we've seen it, proven in other areas of the industry. Power tools, for example.
Power tools have had that for a while. Yeah.
Like how cool are some of the brushless power tools out these days? They're just insane.
Yeah.
So our winch program is going to be insane.
And that's got to be the only variable speed winch
in the world.
I was going to say I've never heard of it, but I do live under a rock. So
we literally have done maybe 2 pieces of content on it. Like we have not really told. We've been working on it for about a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And we're just getting to the pointy end now. So we'll launch our retrofit kits probably some stage in the next 4 to 6 months.
So that'll be for somebody that's already got one of your winches that can just put that on as an upgrade.
So if you've got a 12K or a Scout Pro, you'll be able to bolt on our brushless winch upgrade, brushless winch motor upgrade kit.
Yeah.
Or you'll be able to buy a winch already set up with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be assembling the winches at work.
Yeah.
At Coomera for these setups. It's a retrofit kit. The first lot will be 48 volt or 48 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So you will need a specific battery solution for that.
Yep.
We are going to release that as well. So we've been testing a battery solution with one of our other Australian partners. It's really bloody cool, like what's going on with the batteries as well. But they're a 48 volt battery pack. They output 48 volts, but they also output 12 volts. So this battery system will be able to be used as effectively a dual battery setup.
All in one.
Yeah. So it's 20 kilos, and that includes the charge or basically the BMS on the end.
Yep.
So the BMS is solid state. It's like a 16-layer PCB BMS that will convert your 12 volt from your alternator into a chargeable voltage for your 48 volt battery, right? So it's a retrofit kit. You can have your 48 volt battery charging off your 12 volt alternator off your engine.
Yeah.
And it'll also take other voltage charges as well. But the beauty of it is it's about 20 kilos and it's got the equivalent of about the small setup that we've got, the small output setup, which will be good for like your ATV winches and your smaller four-wheel drive winches, is about 200 amp hour in deep cycle capacity, right?
Right.
So to put that in perspective, your standard sort of AGM, like deep cycle battery, like an N70 ZZ size, they're about 27 kilos and about 105 amp hour rating, right?
Yeah.
So we've got double the capacity of that in 20 kilos. So less than the weight of one AGM, 105 amp hour N70 ZZ size battery.
Yeah.
We've got 200 amp hours of deep cycle capacity. Now, the way that it's all wired up in the system is that it'll also automatically top up your starting battery. all the time.
So you can't crank off that.
No, you crank off your lead acid.
Yeah,
you know?
okay, cool.
Yeah, so this setup requires you to still have your main starting battery.
Yep.
But it'll also always feed your battery, right? So if you're at camp, for example, and you're running accessories off your main battery or whatever, it'll just keep everything topped up. So
yeah, nice.
And you'll be able to run a 48 volt winch off it. So output's 48, output's 12. It'll have like a smart display so you can keep an eye on things. And yeah, we've also got some other cool stuff coming out. So it could be a bit of hey Google, winch in.
Bullshit.
It's coming.
Fuck
Come to the Sydney show. You'll see it.
When's that on?
Around the 14th to the 16th of June. Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to. That's
so we've got some smart technology coming as well for winches.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
All you need then is voice not recognized. Fuck!
Look, there's still a whole bunch of things we're working with on that, but that's the sort of thing that we're working on. We're also developing a full range of Australian-made winches as well.
Okay.
So you heard it here first. We haven't really told many people about that either. The official launch for that will be at the Land Forces Defence Expo in September in Melbourne this year. That's going to be the official launch for that program.
Is that an actual product launch there, like there and then, like there'll be stuff there to buy type deal?
We'll have the working models there. So that program is primarily designed for the defence industry. Okay. However, we will be rolling that out through the basic consumer market as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully, within the next 6 to 12 months, we'll have Australian-made winch options coming to the market.
There can't be many, if any, of them.
No. And look, they're not going to be as cheap as what we've got right now.
No, for sure.
Unfortunately, but just due to the Australian manufacturing, costs. But we're pretty excited. Like it's going to be some really, really nice product and ATV full drive truck as well.
So basically just an add-on to every avenue that you guys are already dealing with.
Yeah. And just we just keep on getting really excited about trying to like progress as a company, and all the high voltage stuff is stuff we're doing to integrate into EVs and hybrids, and all these hybrids and EVs got these massive battery packs.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we be, as a winch company, why shouldn't we be looking at trying to integrate our winches into those sort of vehicles? So
I guess at least you can fit a winch to a, what are them fucking things called? We keep bringing them up.
Cybertruck.
You can fit a winch to that. And Steve, we couldn't work out where to put a snorkel. But I guess you could fit a winch.
Yeah.
And Barney, I'll throw it out there again because Barney did say to Gleno, if Gleno gave him a Cybertruck, he'd do Little Red in it. So
that'd be cool. I'd like to see that.
Yes.
That would definitely like to see that. Have you seen those renders of like the service bodies and stuff on the back of them?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty funny stuff out there.
People are chop, like the concept being to chop one.
Yeah, like to chop one and put like a canopy on the back.
Well, you know what? You've got probably the winch is one of those things, and if it drives anything like it did in that shitty bloody test off-road thing they did.
Yeah.
Although, having said that, I think it was Ruben that brought up the fact that it was, they hadn't let the tyres down. They hadn't done anything. They literally just pointed it up a hill and tried to get it to drive it. But at least with a winch, you're gonna get up there. And those things are fucking heavy.
Oh yeah, they're like 4 ton or something.
Like 8,000 pounds or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. But
so as far as you guys have got you've got everything to do with recovery gear. You've got retailers everywhere, but for somebody that wants to shop online, so it's
carbonoffroad.com.au.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys have got an online store and everything there as well.
Yeah. So It just really depends. Like if you've got a new rig and you're getting a full fit out done, then you should, and you're looking at bar and winch packages, then we always recommend customers to ask for our product at dealers, and we'll support any business that wants to supply and fit our product within reason. But yeah, basically people can buy online through us. We do have a few other great online partners as well that we work with.
Yeah.
They do some really good things for the brand, and just a whole bunch of, I think we've got about 300 odd dealers now around the country.
Yeah, right.
And a few guys in New Zealand as well pushing the product.
Yep.
So we've got a pretty good spread. Like we've got a dealer finder on the website, so you can go there, punch in your postcode, and there you go, retailer locations in the left-hand menu down the bottom there. There you go. Yep, you just jump in there, and yeah, it'll give you a whole bunch of options around the country. So
Auckland too.
Yeah, so the dealers that we have listed here, these are the guys that stock the product on the ground. So you can walk in and within reason, they should have at least one winch there that you can look at or buy. So there's the TJ there. So run
the old girls.
Yeah, run the Badak Extreme muds.
Yeah.
Have you seen them before? They're
No.
crazy. They're awesome. They're wild. Like
they look pretty friggin' aggressive.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love them. The tall, skinny profile. I love that profile.
What's that behind the Jeep?
That's a tank. The tank. That's a Savage Tech tank.
Is it right?
Yeah. Those guys are crazy. They love their tanks.
Cool. And who's that place down the Yatla that are doing the mogs?
That was Unidan.
Unidan.
Yeah.
I have to go down and check that out. I have not had a Yatla pie in quite a while.
Yeah, well, they're literally just around the corner.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, grab a pie and go and see them.
Yeah, definitely going to go and check that out. I need to see $1 million truck. That's crazy.
Yeah, you'll be blown away by what they do there. It's amazing, how much cool stuff is happening in Australia.
Yeah.
It's just I'm always blown away. I go to my, dealers sometimes here and there, and you walk in and go, wow, look at all this cool stuff that they're doing, and the investment they're making in their, to their business, and we love to be a part of that. Like our job is to be, a supporter and partner in their builds, and trying to make sure that we provide a top quality product, and at a good price. Support them as that's why we've got 10, 11 guys at work, because that's what we need. We also launched in the USA. We haven't even spoken about US, but we launched in the USA this year as well. So
really?
Carbon Offroad, Carbon Winches in the USA.
Yeah. So
it's just in its infancy at the moment, but it's happening. So we're pretty excited about that too.
I can definitely see this being something that we revisit, because there's too much stuff. You guys have got everything.
We could keep talking about stuff for a long time. Like even with the suspension, I was going to mention, like with our the monotube range, we're actually we're going to be phasing that range out, and we're going to re-release our suspension.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a twin tube, 8-stage rebound adjuster shock.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about probably half the price of the stuff that we've got now, but the quality is going to be awesome.
Right.
And we're going to, it's going to be a really, really nice setup. We're still going to retain the flat ground coil over coil and the screw thread preload adjuster. The top caps, they're all going to be sort of like factory. It's all going to be basically fully assembled from the factory, all boxed up, ready to go. So when you guys get it, pull it out of the box, whack it straight in the car, adjust it up. We'll have a few different coil rates set up for the vehicles. Applications as well. But to give you an example, like a set of 4 shocks for a patrol, it's probably going to be around $700.
Okay.
400, 4-inch lift. We're going to do some. The beauty with the twin tube setups is that we can get a really short compressed length, but a really long extended length. Compared to a monotube.
Yep.
So we're able to have a really long travel shock, but still put it in, like the old setup with like a patrol running like a 6-inch shock in a 3-inch lift type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our shocks will be, on the money for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
But done in a way that you're not going to be topping out the shock when it's hitting the bump stop. So because the compressed length's short. So we're pretty excited about that. Our first release is going to be mainly Jeep stuff. The Jeep
Massive
guys
market.
The Jeep guys love us.
Yeah.
And we love the Jeeps as well. So we're doing full arm kits, upper and lower, front and rears. Basically full lift kits for everything from the TJs all the way through the JT, Gladiators and all that stuff. We did really well with our initial product. So we're just going to continue that. But we'll have stuff for Hiluxes, Cruisers, everything on the way through. Yeah,
the Gladiators are a good looking rig too. I've seen a couple of them set up with the train canopy style.
Yeah, they look really good.
They do.
Because I'm looking for a daily at the moment.
Yeah.
I have considered the Gladiator. They are just super long though. Like
they are really long.
They're pretty long.
Yeah.
And we've been wheeling. Like we went down to Camp Coff's Jeep event over Easter.
Yeah.
And there's a few Gladiators that come down there, and seeing them through the trees and stuff like that. It's pretty tight. Like they're pretty long rigs. They're not that maneuverable through the bush.
No, but as if you're building it as a daily with a little bit off road.
That'd be a pretty cool rig.
More touring, I would think. Yeah.
I was looking at maybe getting one of the ones with the removable roof.
Yeah.
So then you can have, full roof off,
Yeah.
tray, like Gold Coast lifestyle, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Just cruise around and but yeah, the Jeeps are good. Anyway, the shocks that's all happening. We do have a new truck winch coming as well. Our ATV winch range is getting a full revamp as well. So it just never ends, never stops. Talk for hours on the sort of stuff that we've got going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have a few pretty good, new products and things like that at the Sydney show.
Yep.
And also at the Melbourne show later on in the year.
Yep.
We'll be down there as well. We'll have some cool rigs there. We're hoping to get the new truck there as well. If we don't have that, then we'll have some other cool rigs on display. So it'd be good to see.
I haven't been to Sydney in 8-9 years, I reckon.
Yeah,
7-8 years.
Neither have I.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
but
so
be good to get down there and have a look. See what's going on.
Yeah, Sydney for us is it's an interesting sector of the market for us. So we're going because we need to do a little bit more work in that market. So, but we're pretty keen to just get in there and showcase the brand and keep the flow happening. So we've recently been doing a bit of work on the website and just trying to always constantly improving everything that we're doing. So
it's always an evolution.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's pretty exciting. We've got Callum's our general manager now, so he basically runs the show, and I'm there 4 days a week doing mainly product development and getting the US stuff up and running. So but it's good. Gives me a bit of focus to just keep focused on pushing all that product development, and that's the really exciting. That's the stuff that people get excited about. So there's just not a lot of innovation in our space. So
you're covering quite a lot of space though. So there's a bit of area there to play in, but
it's a bit of an ADHD thing. So it's just like, we could do this or that or this or that, and we just end up making it happen. So
which is really cool though.
We're gonna have our first carbon. Actually, a Carbon Offroad. We should have carbon fiber products.
Well, there's that.
Anyway, so that's gonna happen this year as well. We're gonna have our first actual carbon fiber product, composite product, coming out too.
Yeah. What area? You're not going to tell anybody.
I'm not going to tell you.
Not going to tell us yet.
Anyway, that was our vision back in 2014, 15 when we came up with the name.
Yeah.
That was like, lightweight products and composite, like new materials.
Yeah.
Let's get away from steel. You know, there's better options out there. So
absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, here we are 10 years down the track and we'll release our actual first carbon fiber product. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about that too.
No, that's cool. Now I want to know what it is. You tell me off camera.
Yeah, all right. Oh.
Well, look,
no worries.
I really appreciate you coming down. I know it's a long drive, and I mean, we could probably keep going on this for another bloody, I don't know, forever. There's too much stuff in there. I want to come down for a drive and have a bit of a look. There's
definitely, mate. Come down.
Yeah.
You know, we'll give you the rundown on everything that's going on for sure.
I think it'd be cool because
Yeah.
we've got a couple of the builds going on now, and there you go. You're in the middle.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, mate. We got to get you a new sticker for the front as well.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh my god, I need a new sticker machine. My vinyl color showed itself.
Oh no.
So,
right.
but no, we do. We got to upgrade a few of the bits and pieces, but I got onto that one pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll come for a rundown, have a bit of a look and see what you guys have got going on because it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to know what this carbon item is.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you coming down. For anybody looking for anything from you guys, hit us with the website.
Yep, carbonoffroad.com.au.
All right, and there's everything there. And if they want somebody to install it, you guys have got the find a dealer.
Got the find a dealer stuff. We do have some. If you if they're Gold Coast or Brizzy based, we've got a whole bunch of people that we can recommend.
Yep.
So, and if you're in the USA and you're listening, it's carbonoffroadusa.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy a winch and have it shipped from our US warehouse.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, it's bugging me now. I want to know what it is, and we need more beer. Beer assistant. Nah. Worth a try. Thanks heaps for coming down, buddy.
All right, Ben.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, buddy. Bye, everybody.